left right now is playing both sides of the Israeli-Hamas conflict. Don't be fooled by their gestures of solidarity. This is what happens when the Democrat Party has a large contingent of pro-Hamas sympathizers and anti-Israel sentiment. They're doing everything they can to conceal it. And although Joe Biden and the Democrats are rhetorically defending Israel in the wake of the horrific terror attack, it doesn't change the fact that Joe Biden's policies have not only emboldened Israel's enemies, but ours as well, like his disastrous prisoner swap with Iran and the release of that $6 billion to a country that funds and supports Hamas and Hezbollah. And what's worse, the Biden administration says they've locked those funds, which is now in custody of Qatar. But what they're not telling us, the U.S. no longer has the ability to freeze those funds independently, a critical fact. Just for context, take a guess where the head of Hamas currently lives. And by the way, living in luxury far from the Gaza hardship. That's right, Qatar. So now the U.S. needs the cooperation of Qatar to freeze those very funds again. Meanwhile, they're openly housing Hamas's leaders, sharing deep ideological ties with the Iranian regime, all while funding propaganda machines like Al Jazeera. Not to mention, Qatar is one of the largest funders of Gaza, pumping more than $1 billion into the Hamas-controlled territory. Yet, despite these truths, Biden assures Israel and you and I that America is standing firm against Hamas's reign of terror while standing in solidarity with our ally Israel. Folks, we're funding and supporting both sides of this conflict. This is doublespeak and a high display of incompetence, or possibly worse and more nefarious, a willful act to play both sides in a regional conflict that could lead to global turmoil. But there's something else at play here as well. It showcases the Washington, D.C. swamp in action. Qatar has spent millions in public relations firms in the U.S. and abroad, and billions on the U.S. colleges, all to soften their image as the great negotiator and mediator of the Islamic world. This is what Joe Biden's appeasement brought to the West: terror and an unforgiving dependence on Middle Eastern nations who share nothing in common with America or Israel. So who do you think is feeling more comfortable right now, Iran or Israel? Well, the answer is clear: Iran. Joining me now, former presidential candidate and former governor of Arkansas, Mike Huckabee. Mike, am I being too hard on Biden? I mean, he just announced another $100 million to Gazans, which he says is going to be for humanitarian aid, but a lot of money, a lot of American money going to both sides of a Middle Eastern conflict. Your thoughts?
If he's going to give $100 million to Gaza, he better send some people over there to personally hand it out, and people with some integrity. Otherwise, it's going to be used to make weapons. That's what they do with all the relief money. It's why Gaza has been a basic hellhole for years. They even dug up the water pipes that were supposed to bring fresh, clean water to the people. Hamas dug those up and made rockets out of them. I mean, this is not a place that makes sense to anybody but Hamas. Sadly, the people who live in Gaza, they voted Hamas in power. So you can't say that, well, those poor people didn't know any better. They know better. They just aren't doing better. I think it's really important to understand that as much as I appreciate what President Biden has said and Secretary Blinken, and they've been crystal clear in support for Israel, for that I'm extremely grateful, especially that President Biden made clear that it was not the Israeli airstrike that caused that terrible explosion near the hospital yesterday. But all that's good. But it's time that he stand up and replace those sanctions against Iran. And when he does that, he needs to tell the world that we are aware of what Iran is up to.
Can you do that, Mike? Can you be fully embracing and supporting Israel and still allow Iran to do what they're doing, to continue to further? Imagine what happened with Hamas in Gaza with Iranian support. Imagine if they have a nuclear weapon. All bets are off in the Middle East. I wouldn't want to live in Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough spot for them to be in. It's why they can't afford to let Hamas just get by this time. They've got to go in and destroy it. But if Iran pushes the button and tells Hezbollah to release 100,000 rockets, which they have 10 times the rockets at Hezbollah that Hamas ever had, then suddenly we're going to be thrown into, at first, for sure, a regional war, could be a world war. And I'm not trying to be facetious or melodramatic. It's just that's a fact. And we have let off of Iran. They're hurriedly trying to build a nuclear device. Eric, I don't think any of us doubt that if Iran gets a nuclear device, they're crazy enough to use it. Most people use it as a deterrence. They use it as a matter of going after their enemies, the people that they've been saying for decades they were going to wipe off the face of the map. By the way, it wasn't just Israel. It includes the United States. Yeah. And when people keep telling you they're going to kill you,
believe them.
By golly, you might want to believe them.
I want to believe them. They certainly intend to. Mike Huckabee, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.